Today we're going to find out, are local wineries good, Marta?
Well, Becky, it all depends on what your focus is.
Okay.
Yes and no is the answer. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of local wineries here in the Hudson Valley.
Yes, we do.
And I'll be honest with you, if you like to support the efforts of the community that you live in, or if you're traveling and you want to stop at local wineries, it's fun to do that. But often buying local wines is the only way these wineries can survive. So if you want to be supportive, that's a great thing to do. They're very passionate people about what they do. They do the best with what they have to offer in the climate and with what they have access to. However, in terms of wine quality, local wineries are often lackluster and mediocre.
But not all.
Right, as we're going to see. But basically, we want to support our community, and I certainly don't want to destroy that. Nor if you're on a tourist trip and you want to support that winery and check it out, by all means, have fun and be supportive. Corks and Screw Caps, our channel, our brand, however, concentrates on giving you the real truth about what we feel is quality based on our knowledge. So going forward, that being said, we would like to review some wines and let you know what you can fairly expect from some wineries, local wineries.
Yep.
Unless you're buying California wines that are age-worthy, and the price will frequently be upwards of $20 to $25 a bottle, you would want to drink local wines immediately. In other words, the same year in which you purchased them. With a couple of exceptions, we have some really good wineries up in the Finger Lakes, and we have a few also in Long Island. Taking that into consideration, we also want to address that quality wines need to be produced between 30 and 50 degrees latitude, north or south of the equator. So California, a lot of countries like Uzbekistan, Algeria, certain parts of China, these all fit into that category in the northern hemisphere. So if you're going to be buying local wines from Orlando Disney World or Puerto Rico, let's say, they're going to be even lesser quality than what you could find in the 30 to 50 degree latitude. The climates just aren't meant for it.
Right.
The vine growing situation just doesn't allow for the vines to produce what they should be doing in those regions. Okay. This doesn't mean that all wines produced in these areas are good quality. What it means is that it's possible for them to make good wines because the vine growing conditions are good. Local brands, on the other hand, are frequently overpriced. This does not mean that they're ripping you off. It's just that they don't have the equipment that they need to make their process more efficient and faster, thereby reducing the cost.
So now we're going to rate two wines. The first is 12 Ridges Vineyard Riesling from Madison, Virginia. And then we're going to rate Burntshirt Cabernet Sauvignon Reserve 2018.
Right. And that one is from Henderson, North Carolina. Okay.
Yes.
So let's start with the first one. Okay. This is a cold climate wine, and I'm going to say cold climate. Riesling is a cold climate grape. It doesn't do well in warm climates at all. And even though this is further south than we're located in New York, this is actually in Madison, Virginia, but the altitude is very high, making it colder. So that's one of the pluses of this. So what do you say, Becky? Let's do it. Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hope for the best. Oh. Wow.
Pretty tasty.
Wow, very nice. I'm surprised.
There's some nice petrol on the nose, which is really nice for a Riesling.
Yeah, exactly. It's got a medium lemon color. It's a little hard to see on camera, but this is, no, I'm going to say this is very pale lemon. Pale lemon color. And on the nose, I'm getting some minerality. Okay, what's minerality to review for those just starting to watch? Minerality smells a little bit like wet stones after a spring rain, and this is a positive point when it comes to white wine.
Yes.
Okay, and then we also get some peaches and some pears and maybe a hint of orange blossoms. So this is starting out to be like a pretty nice wine so far.
Yes.
Yeah, let's give it a taste.
Okay.
Again. Wow.
I would agree with everything that you just said.
Okay.
So everything that's on the nose is definitely on the palate.
And it seems a little sweet on the attack.
Yes.
And what we call attack in the wine industry is when you first put it in your mouth, the first impression that you have, not 30 seconds later, but this is almost seems ever so slightly sweet on the attack, but you pick up on that really bright, mouth-watering acidity. It's a very light-bodied wine.
Yes.
It's delicious. It's got fresh flavors of peaches, and I also get petrol. I get a little petrol on the palate also.
Yes.
Yeah, and this is actually more like, this drinks a little bit like a German Riesling, doesn't it?
Yeah, that is actually reminiscent of a German Riesling.
Yeah, because it's got that petrol that we don't often get, and it's got that searing acidity, which is so characteristic of a German wine. The only thing that makes this not very German-like is that it's bone dry. But other than that, I think it's totally delicious.
Okay.
How about that length, Becky? What do you think?
It does linger.
Yeah. This has a long length, and length is what we call when a wine flavor, with the flavors of the wine linger in your mouth a long time, or depending on how long they linger, if it lingers a long time and the flavor is persistent, we call that length. If we say that the length is short, that means that the flavor disappears very quickly, and that's not the sign of a high quality wine. But flavors that linger give it a plus.
Absolutely.
So I would have to say, except for the sweetness level, this is a beautiful wine that drinks just like a German wine. Okay, but the fact that it's not sweet is not a negative. It's just that a German wine is typically, often, again, not all the time, but often slightly sweet to sweet. Okay.
So how would you rate this?
I would personally give this an 8.9 out of 10 points.
Oh,
yeah.
I would probably give it an 8.8.
Would you?
Yes.
Okay. 8.8, lacking a little bit of fruit for you, or what?
Yeah, I would say I would look for a little more sweetness, just because I like a little more sweetness.
Okay. So that's kind of a personal preference.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Nothing to detract from the wine, because this is really a nice wine.
Yeah. I paid $18 for this wine, and I think that that is a fair price for the quality level that this wine delivers. I do. So what I would pair with this wine would be something like a goat cheese, apricot, or dried cranberries with maybe some
shrimp.
Shrimp, yeah. That would be a perfect pairing for this. Yeah, it's delicious. Okay, on to the next wine.
All right.
But first we have to down this one.
Oh boy.
It's a tough job, but somebody has to do it.
And now we're going to evaluate Burntshirt from Henderson County, North Carolina.
I believe we have here a Cabernet Sauvignon Reserve 2018. Okay?
Yes.
So here we go. Let's go, Becky.
How about that color?
And nice ruby red color. Okay. I'm getting intense aromas of overripe black fruit,
Yes.
vanilla, and just a hint of cinnamon. So this is kind of a basic level wine in terms of its aromas. Any thoughts, Becky?
I definitely get the vanilla on there, so yeah.
So honestly, this is a medium-bodied wine. It has really low tannins, low acidity, and the flavor profile on this is pretty sweet. It's technically a dry wine, but it comes, because the fruit is so ripe, it comes across as being a little almost off dry, which in wine terms means slightly sweet. Now, a lot of New World wine is slightly sweet. And when I mean New World, what we're talking about is any country that makes wine that is colonized by the Europeans. So that could be Argentina, California. We're not going to include New Zealand because it doesn't grow Cab Sauv. It could be Chile. Okay, so these are all wines in a very specific style, what we call the New World style. So this is definitely a New World wine. It's very soft, it's very easy drinking, and I'm getting very pronounced, very overripe black fruit, blackberries, plums, and I get a little bit of charred fruit.
I get a lot of char. In my opinion, it's not to my liking. I like a little less char, but if you do like char, this is definitely hands down a great wine for you.
Yeah, it does have a relatively substantial smoke component to it, which I don't find offensive, but I think Becky does.
It's just not my style.
Yeah, but what I'm seeing with this wine is also that the length is medium, which is not too bad. The flavor lingers a while.
Yes.
But the finish also has a little bit of a bitter finish. So what a finish means, different from a length, finish means is what the flavors represent at the end of when you swallowed it and when the flavor is dissipating. So what it tastes like in the end is I'm getting a hint of bitterness as well, which I don't personally care for. The other thing that I'm finding with this is it seems a little bit warm or hot to me on the finish. So in other words, the lasting flavor that I'm getting is we should not be, in a well-balanced wine, we should not be tasting or feeling a burn on our mouth.
Okay.
Because that's considered unbalanced. Now this alcohol level is only 12.8, which is exactly what a good red wine should be.
Absolutely.
In terms of the alcohol level, otherwise it burns too much. However, the fact that this is 12.8 alcohol and that it's really ripe, it kind of tells me that this wine is a little bit unbalanced. So it's a little too hot. There's no acidity, practically no acidity. There's very low tannins. The flavor is just moderate. And mostly what I'm getting here is what I call a two-note wonder. So I'm mostly getting black fruit and vanilla with a couple of underlying
tertiary fruits.
Not tertiary fruits, but like the bitter finish and the burning alcohol. So personally, if you like wines that are very economical, like perhaps some big name brands that you might recognize, if you like a Josh, if you like a Beringer, you might actually also like this wine because it's very soft and easy drinking. This is about like a $10 a bottle wine profile here. And I paid $40 for it, which is extremely overpriced, quite frankly, for this bottle of wine. This is not a $40 bottle of wine. So if you like those style of wines in those price categories, those are drink now wines because they don't age, and this would also be a drink now wine if you like this style. You could drink this wine and it would do well with lighter dishes like chicken with mashed potatoes, or maybe French fries, fried potatoes, and maybe some grilled vegetables. And that would be the best pairing for this wine. So,
okay, well there you have it. We have 12 Ridges Vineyard Riesling and Burntshirt Cabernet Sauvignon Reserve.
Right. So you have two totally different wines with two totally different ratings and price points. So you make your own choices about local vineyards. At any rate, enjoy.
Cheers.